Do you remember a time when toy shopping felt magical? Not just aisles of action figures and dolls, but puzzles, science kits, books, and toys that made you feel a little smarter just by holding them. For many kids in the 90s, that place was Zany Brainy, the toy store that wasn't just about fun, but about imagination, creativity, and learning. It was where parents felt good about spending money because every toy seemed to have a purpose. But today, Zany Brainy is gone. And while the shelves of Toys R Us might have promised I don't want to grow up, Zany Brainy offered something different. I want to grow smart. So how did this promising idea, a toy store built on educational fun, rise so quickly only to disappear just as fast? The story starts in 1991 when entrepreneur David Schlesinger had a bold idea. Schlesinger wasn't new to retail. In fact, he had already founded Encore Books, a bookstore chain. But when Encore was acquired, Schlesinger decided to pivot. He believed there was an untapped market in toys, a store that focused not on flashy fads, but on toys that enriched children's minds. And so, Zany Brainy was born. The very name told you what it was about. Zany meant fun, colorful, and exciting. Brainy meant educational, thoughtful, and enriching. Together, it created a brand that spoke directly to parents in the 90s, especially those caught in the rising wave of parenting trends that emphasized enrichment and learning. This was the decade of Baby Einstein videos, leapfrog gadgets, and parents eager to turn playtime into brain time. Zany Brainy fit perfectly into that cultural moment. The stores were designed to feel different from Toys R Us or KB Toys. Instead of endless aisles stacked to the ceiling, Zany Brainy stores felt curated, almost like a boutique. Shelves held puzzles, science experiments, telescopes, books, art supplies, and high-quality educational toys you wouldn't easily find in a big-box toy store. And it worked. Parents loved it. Kids loved it. By the mid-1990s, Zany Brainy wasn't just a novelty, it was expanding rapidly. To understand Zany Brainy's rise, you have to remember what toy retail looked like in the 90s. Toys R Us was the undisputed king. With thousands of stores worldwide, it was the giant where kids could wander for hours. KB Toys dominated malls with smaller, high-volume stores that thrived on impulse buys. Then there were specialty stores like FAO Schwarz, which sold luxury toys and became cultural icons. Zany Brainy carved out a unique lane. It wasn't competing with Toys R Us on size, or KB Toys on convenience, or FAO Schwarz on luxury. Instead, it was the smart toy store. And Zany Brainy doubled down on that identity with a brilliant strategy: in-store experiences. Walk into a Zany Brainy store in the 90s, and you'd find more than just toys on shelves. There were events, story hours, science demonstrations, hands-on art projects, puppet shows, seasonal fairs. Parents could bring their kids not just to shop, but to experience something. It was part toy store, part classroom, part play zone. And it created a loyal customer base that kept coming back, not just to buy, but to participate. By the late 1990s, Zany Brainy had grown to hundreds of stores across the United States. Its revenue climbed into the hundreds of millions, and it looked like the company was well on its way to becoming the next big name in toy retail. But this was also the moment where its story started to change. Rapid expansion is thrilling for any retailer, but it comes with risks, and Zany Brainy was about to take some big ones. In 2000, Zany Brainy acquired another specialty toy chain, Noodle Cadoodle. On paper, it made sense. Both brands targeted parents looking for educational toys. Merging them could create efficiency, bigger buying power, and greater scale. But in reality, the acquisition was messy. Integrating two retail chains is always difficult, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Why? Because the toy industry itself was changing. At the turn of the millennium, the internet was exploding. Online toy retailers like etoys.com promised something revolutionary: the ability to order toys from your home with just a few clicks. Big box giants like Walmart and Target were also expanding aggressively into toys, using their massive scale to undercut specialty retailers on price. And then there was Toys R Us, still a behemoth, still dominating the market, though it too was beginning to feel the early cracks in its armor. Zany Brainy suddenly found itself caught in the middle. It wasn't the cheapest option. It wasn't the biggest option. And while parents loved the in-store experiences, they also loved the convenience of shopping online or picking up toys during a Walmart run. The company started to bleed money. By 2001, the pressure was too much. Zany Brainy filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Its once beloved stores began closing one by one. The company was eventually acquired by Right Start, another specialty retailer focused on educational products. But the magic was gone. By the mid-2000s, the Zany Brainy brand had disappeared entirely. It wasn't alone. Around the same time, eToys.com collapsed in the dot-com crash. FAO Schwarz went bankrupt in 2003. And a decade later, even Toys R Us, the once untouchable giant, would meet its end. The toy retail industry was unforgiving, and Zany Brainy, despite its creativity, couldn't survive the storm. And yet, if you ask people who grew up in the 90s, Zany Brainy still sparks a special kind of nostalgia. It wasn't just about buying toys. It was about the feeling of discovery. Walking into a store where every shelf promised not just fun, but learning. Where you could build a rocket, paint a canvas, or read a story right there in the store. Parents loved it because it felt wholesome. Kids loved it because it felt different. And together it created memories that outlasted the company itself. In a way, Zany Brainy's story mirrors Toys R Us. Both were toy retailers that defined childhoods. Both grew fast. Both struggled with changing markets. And both eventually disappeared, leaving behind a mix of nostalgia and what if. So what can we learn from the rise and fall of Zany Brainy? First, that timing matters. Zany Brainy was born at the perfect moment when parents were eager for educational toys. But it was also undone by timing, the rise of e-commerce and the consolidation of retail giants. Second, that niche doesn't always protect you. Zany Brainy had a unique lane, but when bigger players start moving into your territory, even a strong niche can get crushed. And third, that sometimes the magic of a brand isn't enough. Zany Brainy created experiences that customers adored, but in the end, it couldn't compete with the convenience, pricing, and scale of its rivals. Today, Zany Brainy is gone, but its influence isn't. You can see its DNA in modern toy brands that emphasize STEM learning, in boutique toy shops that offer curated selections, and in the continued push for toys with purpose. And if you grew up going to Zany Brainy, you probably still remember it. The shelves of puzzles, the puppet shows, the little science experiments. A store that promised kids they could have fun and learn at the same time. In an era dominated by toys that beeped, flashed, and followed fads, Zany Brainy was something different, and maybe that's why we still remember it, even though it's gone. So no, Zany Brainy isn't coming back. Its stores are gone, its brand has vanished, and in today's retail landscape, it would be nearly impossible to rebuild what it once had. But nostalgia, that remains. And after decades of missed opportunities, it's still not clear whether another toy store will ever capture that same feeling again. What do you think? Could a Zany Brainy-style store work in today's world of Amazon and iPads? Or was it a product of its time, destined to fade? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.